But real strength is knowing when to say no. There's something sacred about your energy. The way you love, the way you show up, the way you pour into others, the way your presence shifts a room. That energy is more than personality. It's power. It's purpose. It's a reflection of everything God has deposited into you. And when something is sacred, it's not supposed to be handled carelessly. It's not supposed to be accessed by just anyone. But for many of us, we've been giving sacred energy to people who haven't earned sacred. And then we wonder why we feel depleted, disconnected, and out of alignment. Your energy is not infinite. Your time, your emotional bandwidth, your spiritual capacity, these things have limits. And when you live like they don't, you end up exhausted, you end up burned out, you end up giving your best to everything and everyone else with nothing left for yourself. We've been conditioned to believe that being everything to everyone is strength. But real strength is knowing when to say no. Real strength is honoring your capacity. Real strength is having boundaries that protect your peace, not just your schedule. Boundaries are not walls, they're clarity. They say, this is where I end and this is where you begin. This is what I can give and this is what I no longer allow. They're not punishments, they're protection. And when you start seeing your energy as sacred, you stop apologizing for protecting it. You stop explaining why you're not available for every request, every event, every crisis. You start realizing that saying no to others is often saying yes to yourself, yes to your healing, yes to your growth, yes to your peace. For a lot of us, our biggest breakthroughs didn't come from doing more. They came when we stopped overextending ourselves for people who only called when they needed something. They came when we stopped allowing our kindness to be exploited, when we realized that love without boundaries becomes self-betrayal, that being loyal to dysfunction isn't love, it's fear. Fear of being alone, fear of rejection, fear of not being liked. But fear can't be the foundation for your relationships, because anything built on fear will eventually collapse under truth. It's not your job to be everything for everyone. It's your job to be faithful to who God created you to be. And you can't do that if you're constantly distracted, constantly drained, constantly saying yes to things that are slowly eroding your soul. Boundaries aren't just about time management, they're about identity management. We live in a time where visibility is mistaken for value, where being seen, liked, followed, and applauded has become the currency of worth, where the world tells you that if no one's watching, then nothing meaningful must be happening. But real growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It doesn't happen when the cameras are on and the applause is loud. Real growth happens in the shadow. It happens in the solitude, when nobody's checking for you, when nobody's asking what you're working on, when nobody's validating the quiet decisions that are changing everything. Some of the most powerful transformations take place in seasons where you feel invisible. It's in those moments of obscurity that God does his deepest work, because when nobody's watching, you can stop performing. You can stop pretending. You can stop carrying the pressure of looking okay while you're breaking on the inside. Solitude strips all that away. It leaves you with just yourself and your creator, and that's where the real work begins. Growth is not about becoming louder, it's about becoming rooted. And you can't develop roots when you're always reaching for outside approval. You can't deepen your identity while you're still addicted to attention. You can't build anything lasting when your foundation is other people's opinions. That's why solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. God will pull you away, not to hurt you, but to heal you. Not to isolate you, but to insulate you. Not to leave you behind, but to build something within you that can't be shaken when you step forward again. But solitude is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront the silence, the stillness, the parts of you that haven't had space to speak. It forces you to feel the things you've numbed with noise, the pain you've drowned in busyness, the trauma you've buried under achievement. But those things don't disappear just because you avoid them. They only lose their power when you face them. And solitude gives you the space to do just that, to look your fears in the eye, to grieve what you lost, to release what no longer fits, and to reclaim what you forgot about yourself along the way. We often seek validation because we're unsure. We want someone to tell us we're on the right path, that we're enough, that we're doing okay. But growth requires you to develop internal assurance, to trust your process when no one's clapping, to believe in your calling when no one's confirming it, to keep building even when it feels like no one notices.